Objects recently shot down by the military over U.S. and Canadian airspace.
President Biden says the 3 unidentified flying objects shot down across different parts of North America were most likely tied to private companies, recreation, or research institutions.
Nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country.
The president says he's directed his team to come back to him with sharper rules for how the administration will deal with unmanned flying objects and will share those classified policy rules with Congress when they're finished.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz at the White House. Police say the man who shot and killed 3 students at Michigan State University, critically injuring 5 others, had 2 handguns that were purchased legally. The guns, ammo, and a 2-page note were found with Anthony McRae when he killed himself Monday night as police approached him. Residents of a small Ohio town expressing safety concerns at a community meeting last night after that train derailment nearly 2 weeks ago resulted in the release of toxic chemicals.
Many of the residents here of 5,000 here in eastern Ohio fear that toxic chemicals are still being released.
I wake up every day. I've been sick with my upper congestion. This morning I woke up with my eyes swelled.
My biggest concerns is ultimately the drinking water, the effects of the drinking water. And
I feel like they haven't been truthful with us.
Norfolk Southern Railway skipping the event last night over fears of their safety.
Fox Lucas Tomlinson in East Palestine, Ohio. First-time jobless claims declined slightly last week to 194,000. It's the 5th straight week that number's been below 200,000. A sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow down 431, the S&P falling 57, the NASDAQ down 214 points. America's listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
A judge rejected a DNA offer by former President Trump, putting a legal matter one step closer to trial.
Judge Lewis Kaplan rejected the offer of DNA by former President Donald Trump's legal team, which clears the way for the April trial to move forward. The former president is being sued by E. Jean Carroll, a longtime magazine columnist who says he sexually assaulted her in the 90s. Carroll is also suing the former president for defamation, saying he hurt her reputation by calling her a liar regarding her assault claims. Carroll's lawyers have been trying to get a DNA sample from the former president for 3 years to compare it with DNA on the dress Carroll says she was wearing at the time of the assault. The trial is set to start April 25th. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
Police in El Paso, Texas say one person's been killed, 3 others been wounded in a shooting last night at a shopping mall. Police say 2 people have been taken into custody. That shooting happened in a busy shopping area and across a large parking lot from a Walmart, where 23 people were killed in a racist attack in 2019. The U.S. is accused of trampling on sovereignty in the latest fallout from the spy balloon saga.
This is a statement from the Foreign Affairs Committee of China's ceremonial parliament. It says a resolution passed by the U.S. House of Representatives condemning the spy balloon deliberately exaggerated China's threat. Purely malicious hype and political manipulation, the statement adds. Beijing maintains the balloon was an unmanned civilian weather research airship. The US says its flight route and payload suggest otherwise. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Ford suspended production and halted shipments of the F-150 Lightning electric pickup truck after a battery caught fire during a pre-delivery quality check at its Dearborn, Michigan facility. The automaker says it has no reason to believe electric pickups already in use by customers are affected by the battery issue. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign, and Bannerman Saturday. Another one of these almost early spring-like storm systems impacting the Ohio Valley with heavy weather, rain, and storms. A couple of rounds of rainfall here and significant snow into parts of northern and western Illinois. Winter weather advisories and storm warnings from Chicagoland back to along the Illinois points north and west. We may get into some of that mixed sleet and snow later on this afternoon. Otherwise, periods of rain for the morning. Falling temperatures on a north wind 20 to 30 and gusty. Maybe a spell of some wet snow and rain in spots early on tonight. Windy, much colder, down to 22. Partly cloudy, breezy, much colder for the day tomorrow for a change, feeling like winter time at 32. Into the lower 20s tomorrow night and a breezy, milder Saturday afternoon. Highs up to 46 there, 53 on Sunday. Boy, this active weather pattern continues into next week. Sprinkles on Monday at 48. More rain and mixed moisture, including some wintry stuff. Temps to the 40s and dropping on Tuesday. Rain back in for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures back into the 50s by Thursday. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solier.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny.
Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over!
I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now. I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielema.
You no longer salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Schmack Dogs. With conviction.
Good morning.
Yes.
It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. Derek Piper, Lon Tay, Kyle Tosk. The trio is back.
Morning. We are back. You decided to be a vagabond for 2 days, and do you feel like you wasted 2 days of your life?
I don't know about wasted.
We felt bad for you, Stevie
I feel
and Kyle.
tired.
Well,
I'm
bet.
tired, man.
Stevie, Kyle, and I were all in here yesterday, and it's like, poor Derek. Like, that's a long trip to get a bad result and hardly anything out of anyone.
Yeah.
And I totally get it. Like, I totally get
Underwood.
Underwood.
Quick press availability. Brad didn't want to say a whole lot. And then the players were kind of rushed off, let's be honest.
Yeah. I just feel, listen, it happens. This is a inexact profession we work in terms of covering wins and losses. You don't know when a loss is going to happen. And obviously a coach is not going to be in the tip-top mood to sit there and visit with you for 30 minutes after a loss, especially one as painful as that was. But, oh well.
It's one of those where
you can say you've been to Penn State now.
Yeah, and I had already been there before, too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So I've been to all the Big Ten arenas.
Oh, that's right. You hadn't flown into.
I had not flown into State College before.
Okay.
Where they only have, I think, 4 gates in the entire airport. I showed up on, what would that have been, yesterday morning, Wednesday morning, and I wanted to make sure I had plenty of time. I wasn't driving 90 miles an hour like I was going to O'Hare. And actually, TSA wasn't even open because they were only planning on one flight that morning. And everyone in the airport was flying to Chicago just like me. And they're like, well, our check-in's not open right now, but we'll just open that up about 30 minutes before boarding and get you all in there, and we could walk out on the tarmac and get on the plane.
Was security open?
No, that's what I'm saying. They weren't even open.
So they didn't even check you?
They opened it like 30 minutes before boarding, so we're all sitting in the lobby.
They're like, everybody's going to Chicago. We don't really care about those people. Just let them get on the plane. If there's something wrong, then that's their problem.
Yeah. But as far as writing goes, even we were like texting back and forth, me, Jeremy, and Joe were like, what do you write after that? You could write the whole, pick a kill to Illinois, and Underwood had this to say about it. I was like,
No fart noses.
No. there wasn't just a whole lot. So I kind of took it upon myself. I was like, I'll write my own take on it. I'll give my own column takeaways.
I want to play a game sometime in the 4 o'clock hour, because if we do it in the 3 and it revisits from 5 to 6 because we re-air it, I don't want people texting in thinking we're live and not being able to answer them, because there's nothing worse than us, ignoring people, which we try not to do. Sometimes we just get so many texts, it's hard for us to read them all. But sometime I'd love for our listeners, and I'm sure Kyle would have a couple of questions, and I would too. Now that you've been to every arena in the Big Ten, I'd love to ask different questions about, like the obvious, what's your favorite, what's your worst, what is something about each arena that is unique.
I can tell you, Bryce Jordan Center, the uniqueness is the curtains in the second level.
Right.
I have not seen that anywhere else.
It's like when you're at a concert for someone that's like 68, and they used to be really good when they were 28. And it's like, well, now he's playing Urbana instead of State Farm Center or Villa Grove Agnes, But, yeah, I think it would be cool just to kind of get to know a little bit of – I've been to a lot of them. Now, I was at the old Wisconsin Fieldhouse, or whatever that used to be called, and I've been to Kohl Center. At Michigan, I've never been to the new Chrysler, because wasn't it an old one, or did they just redo it?
I think they renovated it.
Oh, okay, so I have been to that one. So it would be kind of cool to go – I've been to Northwestern, but not since they've renovated it. I think it would be cool to go through there, and I could add a little bit to each one, but – I think that would be awesome, and just have our listeners ask different questions about each one. Like, who's got – well, not like you get to go in the locker rooms, but like who's awesome with the media? Is there – well, probably this way. Is there any that are just kind of like, like we don't really like you, but we know you're –
I'm getting that vibe from Indiana, where I'm going this weekend, because we literally sit in the last row.
Oh, that's right.
Of the first level, and then you have the overhang of the balcony.
Okay.
So that's pretty frustrating when you're sitting in like row 70.
Yeah. So they used to do the media. They used to put the media behind a bucket opposite the side of their national championship banner. So that opposite side, they wanted you to stare at it the entire time. But it was always the very top row of the, I call them bleachers on the ends.
Yeah.
And I think they are bleachers, right?
They're literally bleachers, because that's where we sat during the COVID season, where no fans were allowed in. The media literally sat on the bleachers.
Okay. See, I think stuff like that would be really cool, because there might be people, obviously at Indiana games, you can see that they're bleachers, but there might be listeners that have never been to opposite arenas, or maybe they've only been to one. I think it would be cool to get your take and a little bit of mine about different things that, and then that could lead us into stories like when Illinois beat Indiana there and Bob Knight almost punched Ted Valentine, and I thought I was going to have the video of a lifetime, because I was just dead set straight ahead right at Bob Knight as he walked towards Valentine, and I was on him as tight as possible, and then as he passes him, Valentine flinches. I think I told you that. Valentine thought he was going to hit him. And I'm like, now, that should tell you everything you need to know about what an ass Bobby Knight was. And then, of course, we go into the press conference room, and I could not wait to ask Bob Knight a question, because he was steaming. And I asked him about, boy, this is pretty impressive that this Illinois team wasn't predicted to win this Big Ten, and now there's a chance they're going to win it. Oh, he hated me. I don't think he gave me – he did, to his credit, he gave me a little bit of an answer, but I know he was eyeing me like, why are you asking me that question? Because, of course, he thought they got royally you-know-what. Yeah, I think it'd be fun to go through stories like that.
It would.
Maybe this summer. We're talking Cardinals baseball day, and you wore your Cardinals
it's going to be. That was not a mistake. It was not a coincidence. Jeff Jones, Belleville News Democrat, to fill us in on Cardinals pitchers and catchers have reported spring training is going to get rolling. You guys talked Cubs yesterday.
We did. We talked to Ryan Lieber. I thought that was a really good conversation with Ryan Lieber. Don't you agree, Kyle?
I do.
I let Kyle get the nitty-gritty. I asked Ryan about Wilson Contreras, and I said, I'm not trying to be a smart aleck here. I just want to know your thoughts on losing Wilson and the Cardinals gaining him. And then Kyle got kind of nitty-gritty on the Cubbies with their offseason moves and such. I kind of enjoy a couple of the moves the Cubs made, and we'll see. But I think Ryan was very honest. Like with Bellinger, for instance, he's like, maybe he has a one-off and has an unbelievable season again that he hasn't had in a long time. But otherwise, that's kind of probably a guy that's going to hit 200 for you and hit a few home runs. So, but I thought it was a very good segment on that. So
I almost had forgotten they got Bellinger.
I know.
I'm ready to dive in and start to figure out these
Trey Mancini.
Yeah, that's true.
I told Ryan
these rosters, these lineups.
Yeah, one of the only bets I've ever won was Trey Mancini actually got a hit in the 9th inning to win me a bet, and Ryan said, "Well, that can probably tell you how bad you are at it, the depths that you're going to even make a wager on Trey Mancini." I'm like, "Well, I agree with that." But yeah, so I don't know. It was good to talk, and then of course today Tim McCarver passed away. So a guy that I really enjoyed. Now, I was the outlier, I think, to most who did not really care for Tim McCarver as a broadcaster. What did you like him?
I liked him especially when he was on the national broadcast. Okay. Him and Joe Buck, like that was growing up, and even for a long stretch of time, the World Series was always going to be Buck and Tim McCarver, and I thought they were really good together. I think that sometimes maybe towards the latter stretches of his broadcasting career, as he transitioned onto the Cardinals broadcast, maybe he wasn't as good or as sharp. He was a little bit, down the line. We know that, as with anything, whether you're an athlete, as Lon is getting down towards the end of his radio career. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's true. You're just not as sharp.
He was solid. But I thought that during his quote-unquote prime on there with Fox and Buck and everything, he was part of a big-time production. It felt like you were watching big-time games when he was on, and I respected him. I liked him.
That's a fair. And until the clown show with Deion Sanders, when that all happened where Sanders came in and threw water on McCarver, do you remember that?
I don't.
When they were covering a World Series and something happened to where, I don't know, McCarver and Sanders were kind of at each other. I don't know if McCarver had said something about Deion because Deion was playing baseball, of course, and I think McCarver maybe said something that didn't make Sanders happy. So on a post game, Sanders came in and threw water on him while he was doing the national, it was like in the locker room and stuff. And it was just on both sides. They just looked like fools. And at that point, I was ready for McCarver to be gone. I think I enjoyed him more with the Cardinals maybe than more on a national. But I get where you're saying, because that kind of made your youth. That's kind of who you grew up listening to, correct? Like with me, it was more of Jack Buck back in the day, and I'm trying to think exactly who did the games with him. Maybe McCarver for a while, but like when McCarver joined the Fox Sports Midwest at the time crew, I enjoyed the stories. He would just go off on a story about Bob Gibson or any one of those guys that he played with, Cepeda, et cetera, and I always kind of enjoyed that because I felt like I learned about Cardinals history through McCarver.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But again, Scott, Piper was in diapers when the Deion thing happened. And Scott, we are going to get at this Mo thing one of these days because I am not in total agreement with you. He just does not like the extension of John Mozeliak. But we'll get into that, Scott. We'll have a nice little visit on that one. But yeah, I think McCarver added some nice Cardinals history, if you will, during that, and I certainly enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's tough, man. The Cardinals organization in general has lost a lot of guys, impactful guys, in the last. Red Schoendienst, of course, Stan Musial. Just go down the list of guys that the Cardinals have lost.
Gibby, Lou Brock was in 2020.
Oh, man. How did I not start with those two? Gibby and Lou Brock and Red Schoendienst and, Mike Shannon, of course, retiring. That was the story. So there's just been a lot of change. A lot of change in the Cardinals organization in the last few years, but
yeah, for him to be battery mates with Bob Gibson and have the stories from that was pretty cool.
That would have been somebody sat down and had a beer with him at a table and heard probably 4 hours. Probably Mike Claiborne. I guarantee you Mike Claiborne did. And heard 4 hours of Gibson stories that would be priceless to hear now. And that's the key, right? In life, I've always said this. I wrote a song about it. You are the next messenger of great stories, so take that with pride. I think that's the case of anyone, whether it be in a small town and a guy that everybody knew and he passes away and now all of you have to carry on that message, those funny stories about that guy, because isn't that how we want to be celebrated when we pass away, right? I want people 10 years after I passed away to just say, hey, you remember when Tay was up to bat in that fast pitch tournament down in Altamont and pooped his pants? I don't know. I never did that. by the way. But I mean,
now that you've told me that story, I'm going to be saying that.
Yeah, now it's
to
like,
the next generation of people.
He said it on the air. But I think stuff like that is what's cool, and that's why like guys like Claiborne are huge, man. Just to carry on stuff like that with Gibby and gosh, man, battery mates in heaven now. Gibby and McCarver. That's incredible. I mean, Gibby McCarver is more of a Wayno Yachty kind of thing, right? When you look at it. I didn't mean to hijack this entire segment.
No, you're good.
We're going to do a cool thing next segment on college basketball, on Big Ten basketball.
We're going to try to figure out, based on our projections, what could go wrong, the Big Ten tournament seeding. As we look here, about 2.5 weeks left of the regular season, and we can go through. There's a cool website, actually, our former friend, I was going to say good friend, but you voiced before the show, it's a former friend in Trevor Valise. Sent a link today in a group chat that you can go onto this website and plug in the results of every Big Ten game the rest of the way, and it will tell you, it will show the bracket for up in Chicago, Big Ten tournament.
Sweet.
There's a wide range of outcomes, as you can imagine, with so many teams just jammed in there together from pretty much 3 all the way down through 10.
Yeah.
So we'll see where Illinois is right now. I can share with you, right, as it stands, which of course isn't going to happen, but if every team that's currently favored to win, based on projection, wins, Illinois would be the 8 seed.
8?
In the Big Ten tournament, which is pretty wild.
Holy smoke. That is wild. Okay, I was laughing because you can tell he's a used-to-be friend because I wasn't even part of this group chat today. So I don't even get in them. But the other day, you, Trevor, and I were in there, and I finally figured out how to react to a text, like where you hit it and you hold it, and then you can hit the question or like the exclamation marks or the heart or whatever. You know, so
the thumbs up. Yep.
Trevor's like, I am blown away that Lon now knows how to react. You countered with something that I can't share on the air, but it was...
Please don't.
I literally almost wrecked my car laughing when you countered with a text that was very clean. It wasn't anything bad.
It was.
But it was just, I literally almost ran off the road. And I was like, oh my Lord, I just laughed my ass off right there. It was fantastic. So yeah, but anyway, now that he's a former friend, I don't even get on group chats with Trevor. So
he shared that. Jeremy and Joey and I got that one from him.
Oh, okay. So I've really fallen.
I apologize.
Man, Kyle, you want to do a group chat sometime?
We already have one, and you already ripped me in there. So.
Oh, that's right. So Kyle doesn't want to be
not a big fan of that. How that's going.
So now I've got Jeremy, you, and Trevor that don't want me a part of your lives anymore, and now I've got Kyle that I rip on nonstop. So I've ruined that. Diane, do you want to get on a group chat? Okay, Diane and I, and we'll figure somebody else out. We will do a group text just so I feel like I'm in the loop with somebody. That was funny.
I apologize.
No, I'm kidding.
Before
I'm
we catch a break and get into this Big Ten tournament, let's talk about the story of the night last night, at least as far as the Big Ten goes. Indiana was on the road at Northwestern, a team that was coming off a win against Purdue there in Evanston, and they also beat the Hoosiers.
You're telling me that Northwestern back-to-back, essentially, beat Purdue and Indiana in basketball?
Yes, they did.
Both of them?
They are now 10-5 in the league.
Wow.
In sole possession of second place in the Big Ten.
Good for them. Did you think coming in that Chris Collins was kind of coaching for his Northwestern job?
I did.
I did too. I mean, I felt like he had a long leash at the beginning. And then he got him to, first of all, when he first started there, it was kind of like, all right, he's a big name. We're going to let him do his thing, let him develop, let him try to get this program working. Well, it never really got off the footing. And then all of a sudden they get to an NCAA tournament for the first time in the history of Northwestern. And then you thought, okay, that probably bought him another 10 years. And I know that wasn't that long ago. But now all of a sudden, a few years later, I mean, they were kind of right back to where it's just like, oh, it's Northwestern. Okay, that's fine. We'll beat them. And you just excused them, right? Twice a year, essentially. You kind of worried a little bit when you went to the super sectional gym. But other than that, you basically were like, well, we'll beat Northwestern twice, so that's good to have the Cats on the schedule twice. And then all of a sudden this season, 10-5. I mean, I don't like Northwestern, but good for them. Good for those players. Good for fans of Northwestern that literally have never really had anything to cheer about except for like a Kevin Coble 3 on occasion. Other than that, they've never really had anything to cheer about. And for them now all of a sudden to not only go to the, I mean, because we just said, like a week ago, before these batch of games, we're like, Northwestern's still not going to make the tournament. They're not beating Purdue. They're not beating Indiana. They've still got to come to Illinois. I'm like, there's no way. I think they still have to go to Rutgers maybe. I'm like, there's no way Northwestern's making the tournament. And the next thing you know, they have defeated Purdue and Indiana, and now you're scared to death with them coming to State Farm Center next week. Well, maybe not scared to death. That's probably a little much, but you're worried a little bit more.
Not chalking that up as a win, for sure.
No, that's amazing what they've done.
As you were looking at their schedule down the stretch, I know that Wisconsin's not typical Wisconsin, but it started with they had to go to Kohl Center. They won that game in close fashion. They did beat Ohio State on the road, too. Ohio State in free fall mode, but then back-to-back to beat Purdue, beat Indiana. Now they got another home game coming up on Sunday against Iowa, but they're 19-7, 10-5 in the Big Ten. They probably, I would say it's safe to say they've locked up a tournament berth.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
For a team that was projected second to last in the Big Ten, just one spot ahead of Nebraska, no expectation for them. I know that Collins in Minneapolis at Big Ten Media Day went up at the podium and talked about how old they were, how many guys they had coming back, and I'll admit, kind of just sat there and chuckled a little bit. It was like, yeah, you guys are old, and yeah, you got some of the same names back, but the one really good player that you had last year, Pete Nance, transferred to North Carolina. So it doesn't really matter that you're old. You kind of don't have a good team.
Mm-mm. I was never an Audige.
No, or a Boo Buie guy.
Right. Now, Boo, on occasion, would impress me.
But see, that was the thing about Boo Buie. He was on occasion.
Correct.
He'd
Very
go off
inconsistent.
every once in a while, and then he'd shoot like 2 for 15 a handful of nights too. But I mean, even the narrative last night while Robbie Hummel's doing the game, and I don't know if I can get there. Is Boo Buie and Chase Audige really the best backcourt duo in the Big Ten?
Is that what he said?
They were talking about that, and that's kind of a storyline right now in the Big Ten. It says a lot about the guard play in the league, number one, that we're at that point. Now, Bowie made an awesome shot last night to be able to go downhill at the end of the game and get that thing to go. And he's had a lot more of a consistent year.
Right.
Audige has played well. I know he's a good defender, too.
Mm-hmm.
They're still kind of high-volume guys, maybe not the most efficient, especially of shooters from the outside.
Audige was great against Illinois, that first meeting. It's funny you said that, and I'm like, he said that? And then in my mind,
you're trying to go
immediately went through about 7 teams in the Big Ten, and I'm like, yeah, you know what? He might be right. Not that Robbie Hummel's going to know that a hell of a lot more than I am. But as I went through, I'm like, okay, Ohio State, I mean, they do have Sensabaugh. Illinois, we have Epps, but who else? Indiana's got Hood Schifino, but Xavier's not playing, right? Or is he back?
He's not back yet.
So when he gets back, maybe
Hood Schifino, Xavier Johnson.
Yeah. Iowa's
Jaden
got
Epps
Perkins.
and Shannon?
Epps and Shannon, if you counted Shannon as a guard.
Yeah.
Which you could. I mean, I understand you could. For some reason, I was thinking more of him as a wing. Yeah. I mean,
Tyson Walker and Hogard were probably considered the best combo going in, at least when you count one of them having to be a point guard.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If you want to say Jalen Pickett, and if you're going to count Andrew Funk as a shooter, I don't know what you get defensively, but
I as just flat out true traditional guards, I think Robbie Hummel's correct. Because Boo is a traditional point guard, and Audige is that perfect 2 guy that plays good defense and can shoot a little bit. And again, he went off on Illinois at Evanston, so sorry, Robbie. I immediately just said you're wrong. And
because it sounds gross.
It does. It
doesn't sound right.
That is weird. Okay, so you're saying that the Big Ten's we're going to go another season without winning a national title.
I'm wondering. I'm starting to wonder.
I mean, Northwestern has a better win now than you do, beating Purdue, who is a consensus 1 seed in the tournament. Illinois has wins over Texas and UCLA, who right now are consensus 2 seeds. And Northwestern has beaten Purdue, so technically you can say that they maybe have a better resume.
As far as I know in the net rankings, Illinois is still ahead of them, but listen to this. We've talked a lot about quad 1 wins recently for Illinois. They only have 3 right now. They're 3-7 in quad 1 games. Northwestern is 7-4 in quad 1 games. They've won 7 quad ones. When you think about they swept Indiana, beat them in Bloomington and at home. Woo. They beat Purdue in Evanston. They beat Illinois in Evanston. And they won at Michigan State.
Yeah. Man. That's impressive.
Would it be funny, or wouldn't it be funny if this is the year where we're starting to realize or accept? I think going into the season, like Illinois was kind of like projected around 20 to 25 maybe in the rankings.
Yeah.
You had Indiana like hovering on that like top 15 range.
Right.
Purdue was not ranked.
No.
Who was
Michigan State?
Indiana was the highest ranked team, and they're kind of around 15.
And it seemed like maybe Michigan State was like 20 or something.
Ohio State was maybe, depending on where you looked, maybe just on the outside of 25. So you knew that there wasn't the traditional amount of top-level teams in the Big Ten. And again, this is a league that has good depth, but it's kind of played out to what we originally thought. Now, Purdue's still pretty good. I still think Indiana's pretty good.
I do too.
But wouldn't it be funny if this is the year where now we're kind of like, is the Big Ten just a bunch of meh? And then they go into the NCAA tournament and you got like 4 teams in the Sweet 16. Because wasn't that the case where the Pac-12 a couple years ago?
Oh, yes.
Was
that when UCLA just barely made it in?
From the first 4 to the Final 4.
To the Final 4. And Oregon State was the team you were going to play if you beat Loyola.
Yes. Oregon, who was like a 7 seed, had beaten Iowa, who was a 2 seed. Oregon went to the Sweet 16.
Wow.
And then last year it was kind of the ACC.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
We knew Duke was good.
Yeah.
But like North Carolina.
Carolina went on a run to the championship game.
Miami was in the Elite 8.
That's crazy. That's a great point you're bringing up. And all I can think about is Trevor Valise saying, why did they win? Why did they beat Indiana right before Indiana's playing Illinois? Like now Indiana's going to be mad. Like they weren't going to be tough to beat anyway. Now they're sitting there saying, okay, we cannot lose this game to Illinois because now we're falling from this to this. Where's Indiana right now? 4? A 5?
On the seed line?
On the seed line.
They're probably a 5.
Okay. And Illinois is holding on to a 6?
I'll have to see if there's an updated bracketology. 6, maybe 7, depending on where you look.
So a 7 plays a 10 and then plays a who?
2.
Okay.
We were actually having I shouldn't have bring this up.
Oh, here we go.
We were actually having a conversation today.
Now you're talking about stuff that I love.
Yeah, we should have.
Oh, man.
Loop you in on
Kyle, I'll start being nicer to you. You were talking about the 6 seed, weren't you?
No, I was talking about because the joke for Illinois fans is like, let's see who's going to get way underseeded this year and put in our path.
Oh, yeah, right.
Similar to Houston,
correct.
Similar to Loyola.
Yep.
But I actually think the thing Illinois should worry about or be hoping for is a 2 seed or a 3 seed that's way they're like overrated. They're a little fraudulent.
Okay.
Or I don't know about, you're not going to get a fraud to 2 seed, but maybe
because a 2 seed could be UCLA or Texas.
Yeah,
you've already beaten them, but I don't necessarily
want to see those.
Correct. I don't want to play them again.
You try to find like the softest 2 or 3 versus worrying about an 8 or 9 that's going to be.
Yeah. I'd rather be the worst 6, or I'm sorry, the worst 7, I guess, instead of the. What am I trying to say? I know what you're saying.
You don't want to get in the 8-9. I think you don't want to play a 1, right?
I definitely don't want to do that. But yeah, it all comes down to like where you're at and how they're. That's interesting. Now you got me thinking about who's going to be the team that they. I don't know. Here's what I don't want: a 7 against a 10 that's like Kentucky. And then it's like you got to play Kentucky, and then if Kentucky all of a sudden Sheboy goes nuts, and Kentucky makes a run to the Elite 8 or something, and you're like, of course they would.
Lenardi put out he didn't put out his entire bracket, but his updated first four out, last 4 in. North Carolina and Kentucky both in his last 4 in. So they're literally right there on the bubble and would be kind of in that 10-11 seed range.
Because a lot of times don't like those two, like teams like that will play, and then they'll play the 6. Right? Those first 4 games in Dayton.
Yeah, they'll get put in the.
Because 2 of them go to play.
Can you imagine Kentucky and North Carolina playing in Dayton?
That'd be awesome. And then Illinois gets the winner. Because the other two games in Dayton are like the throwaways, right? That schools you've hardly ever heard of, and then they go to play Purdue and whoever, like Kansas.
Yep.
And then the other two are like whoever wins that is the 11th seed to play the 6. Maybe I'm going to start liking the 7 seed. Who are the 2 seeds right now? UCLA, Texas. Is Kansas State a 2? Is
Baylor's
Iowa
a
State?
2.
Oh, Baylor. Okay.
Arizona's a 2.
Ooh. Does Baylor scare you?
Yes.
Okay.
Baylor does scare me.
You didn't have to answer so quick. You could have paused.
I really like how Baylor's playing.
Okay. If you're a 6, then you get a 3.
Yep.
Which would be
Marquette, Tennessee, Kansas State, Virginia.
Okay, give me all of those. Seriously.
So you want that 6 seed? Like
I want that 6 seed.
Like always. Yep.
Like Tennessee seems like they always falter.
Not a very good offensive team.
They usually get the win, and then they kind of falter as they go through. Marquette, we owe them for a couple of years ago when somehow they beat us. It ruined
Shaka
the
Smart
day
there.
in Maui. Yes.
You know the last time Shaka Smart won a tournament game?
Oh, you love this.
I do.
Well, VCU, I assume.
Yes. Because I bet on Texas, or I didn't bet. I picked Texas to win it all one year.
That's right.
Stupidly.
And they got beaten the first round.
Yeah. He has not won a tournament game since 2013.
Since he had hair.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, no. He grew out hair. He used to not have hair. He used to be.
That's what I mean.
Since
he's
got
grown
hair,
it out,
he has not won any tournament games.
He needs to just get rid of it and go get rid of the Gronk. No, that's the. Who was the linebacker for the Bears?
Urlacher.
Get rid of the
one of those
Urlacher.
billboards up there.
Right. That's terrible. No, I'm telling you, Virginia, they looked good in that tournament that we were in when we beat UCLA, and then they lost to.
They won the whole thing. They beat Baylor.
They beat us.
And then they beat Illinois.
I'm sorry. That's right. We played Virginia. My fault. So you've played them. They were better than you, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like we could get them.
Yeah, they're gettable.
Marquette.
Marquette, yeah. Kansas State.
Yeah. How can Kansas State be that good all of a sudden? And then, man, we've gone long, haven't we? Woo. Jeff Jones at 405.
Jeff Jones, 405. We'll do some Big Ten tournament projection as we map out the rest of the season. See where Illinois will stack up as we go through it. Kyle will run us through the rest of the matchups. It's crazy. Like I keep saying, there's like 2 weeks left.
Christian says K-State just lost to Oklahoma. He thinks that's a good matchup for us.
I like it.
I do too.
Before we catch a break, Lon's got to do a little work.
That's right. Little work means a little Busey, and we love doing it. It's not work to us. Hey, it's America's Saves Week, February 27th through March 3rd. By the way, chance we're going to get Coach Bielema the week of February 27th to talk to Brett and kind of ask him how things are going. So they're on vacation now. Those guys need vacation. I mean, they have been busting it, but there's a chance we'll get him there. But that week is America's Saves Week. Brett doesn't necessarily have to. He can throw $100 bills out his window and still be okay, but he doesn't. It's a widely recognized national campaign where thousands of organizations join together to collectively encourage communities to focus on financial wellness. Save automatically. I love this one. The easiest way to save, how about this, Pipes? Every time you get a paycheck, throw 10% of whatever it is. I don't know what you'd make. Throw 10% of the savings. Never even touch it. Don't even look at it. I think that's great. I think that's a great way to save some money. Save for the unexpected. We all get that. Save to retire. Well, I'll start doing that one of these days. I'm kidding. Save to reduce debt. That's the big one. I think for a lot of people, you pay off a credit card, you pay off a car loan, that's like getting a raise. Think about it. If you pay $300 a month for a car loan and you get that thing paid off, somehow you can pay $600 a month for a few months, all of a sudden now you've gotten a $300 raise. That's huge. Invest in your financial future. Visit Busey.com to get started. Stop by one of their many convenient locations today for solutions to your personal, business, and wealth management needs. I'm member FDIC.
We come back, breaking down the rest of the Big Ten schedule and what that means for the Big Ten tournament seedings. We'll do that next. This is The Drive.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less. PDR Automotive has now been serving the Champaign-Urbana area for over 50 years. To give you some perspective, 50 years ago ended the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, and it was when Secretariat won the Triple Crown. So what does that mean for you and your vehicle? Whether you need a carburetor overhauled or your new vehicle computer system diagnosed or programmed, PDR Automotive has the experienced, knowledgeable staff that can handle all your automotive needs. Online at pdrauto.com, they are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Illini fans, for a limited time at Jets Pizza, choose between a small salad, Jets bread with dipping sauce, choice of dessert, Jet Boat with one topping, or a small one-topping Detroit-style pizza. Pick any 2 or more and get each for $7.99. That's right, pick 2 or more for just $7.99. Jets bread and small salad, $7.99 each. One-topping small Detroit-style pizza and Jets bread, $7.99 each. Promo code MX2. You get the idea. Pick 2 or more for $7.99 each. A deal that can't be beat. Jets, better because it has to be.
You've changed thousands of diapers, played hours of peekaboo and duck duck goose because you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow in Champaign-Urbana today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. If you're looking for a pre-owned car, truck, or van, look no further than Sarah Champagne. You know them for their 5 incredible vehicle brands, the BMW, Honda, Subaru, Buick, and GMC. But did you know they also have over 100 used cars, trucks, and vans in stock right now? And at Sarah Champagne, they will take care of you. You can trust them. And prices begin at under $2,000. Stop by Sarah Champagne. They're Burwash and Savoy, or go online, sarahchampagne.com. That's Sarah, SERRA, champagne.com.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B at Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
Back on the drive with Tay and Piper, Derek Piper, Lante, and bringing in Kyle Tosk as we roll through the rest of the Big Ten slate in the final 2.5 weeks. It's cool. There's a website that we're going to plug in who wins each and every game. Won't spend too much time, especially on the rest of Minnesota's schedule. I don't think we need to analyze that too much, but we'll figure out what this. We're going to come up with our results and see what the bracket looks like. So, Kyle, let's have you take it away.
All right, we'll go chronologically here up until the end of the season and pick some winners here and see how the bracket shapes out. Starting with the 2 games tonight, we got Iowa hosting Ohio State.
I like Iowa.
I do
Gotta
too.
be the Hawkeyes.
I do too.
How can you even pick Ohio State at this point?
Man, yeah. They're bad.
I think they've quit.
I agree.
And Maryland hosting Purdue.
Tough one.
That is a tough one. I think Purdue bounces back.
Maryland's been great at home. Yeah, I'll agree with you. Let's go Purdue.
Okay. Over the weekend, we have Indiana, Illinois from Bloomington.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Michigan hosting Michigan State in
I'll see Michigan.
Rivalry game.
Heated battle. They don't want to lose to Michigan State, right?
Yeah, I'll go with. You can pretty much lean the home team in most of these.
I agree.
And yeah, I'd say Hunter Dickinson and company.
Especially when they
Ann Arbor.
really hate each other.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, can you lean the home team in Penn State at Minnesota?
No.
I'll go Penn State.
Penn State. I think Penn State's going to get hot.
I do too.
Rutgers at Wisconsin.
See, I could
Rutgers
see
at Wisconsin.
I could see Wisconsin winning that one.
Yeah. Wisconsin on the bubble.
Yeah,
they're another
that's
one
true.
of those last teams in right now.
I'll say Wisconsin then. Desperate.
Maryland goes to Nebraska.
Well, hold on. Derek hadn't voted.
I'll go with you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Because you get, you're the one that is going to know
I'm
this better than
conflicted
me.
on it. I have said that I think that Rutgers was a little overvalued as they were sitting there at number 2. So I guess I'll take Wisconsin.
I know. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go with that. Or what do you think?
Badgers.
Okay.
I don't love it.
They need a win.
Yeah, Badgers.
Maryland at Nebraska, who actually has 6 conference wins somehow.
They're beating everybody right now.
They are not going to be paying Hoiberg's $10 million buyout. He'll be back.
I don't know how I can sit here and say Nebraska, but maybe I do.
Who are they playing again? Nebraska against who?
Maryland's bad on the road, right? They're
Maryland
not very.
is terrible on the road.
I'll take Maryland.
Okay, I think I am too.
Iowa at Red Hot Northwestern.
Wow.
Come on. Is Northwestern really going to win 5 in a row? Are they going to reel off home wins against Purdue, Indiana, and Iowa?
I could see how Iowa would be their bugaboo.
Iowa hung like 93 on them here.
I was going to say, I could see how Iowa's just the team that just goes out and outscores Northwestern.
I'll take Iowa.
I am too.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay.
And Ohio State at Purdue.
Purdue.
Easy one there. The makeup, Illinois hosting Minnesota.
Illinois.
And Michigan State hosts Indiana next week.
Indiana.
Yeah. Michigan State does not impress me.
Don't impress me either. They've gotten killed by pretty much every good big man in the league. Have you guys noticed that?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The Sissoko hype from like early November has not really lasted.
Not at all.
Minnesota at Maryland.
Maryland.
Iowa at Wisconsin. Every
Iowa.
Wisconsin game's going to be tough to pick. Isn't it?
I know. Yeah, I'll go Iowa. Are we too bullish on Iowa? I'll go Iowa.
Illinois brings in Northwestern.
Illinois.
Got to get that revenge on them.
Yes.
Come on.
Not so. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
Illinois.
not so fast.
Penn State at Ohio State.
Penn State.
Yeah.
And Michigan at the Rack to take on Rutgers.
Rutgers.
The Rack.
Michigan State at Iowa.
Man, does Iowa slip up on one of these?
Probably.
They've been great at home, though. They're another one of those teams.
You're right.
Have we gone
dropped
wrong by
90
picking
at
them
home and 70 on the road?
2 straight on the road?
We picked them 2 straight on the road.
We picked them to beat Wisconsin on the road and Northwestern on the road.
Yeah.
Well, they should. Well, not Northwestern. Maybe we take Northwestern in that game. Can you do that, or
yeah?
What do you think?
But then,
No, let's stick with our guns.
Do you want to go upset and Michigan State goes into Carver and beats them? Not really.
No, I don't.
Iowa, let's just roll with it.
I feel like I haven't been to church in 3 days, or like in 3 months, because I picked Iowa 3 straight times. Excuse me, Lord.
Minnesota at Nebraska in a game that carries a lot of weight here.
Nebraska
for sure.
The Indiana-Purdue rematch from West
Oh,
Lafayette.
Purdue wins that.
Yep. Boilers.
Northwestern at Maryland.
Maryland, yeah.
The Wisconsin-Michigan rematch from Ann Arbor. Will Hunter Dickinson wear another ski mask into that one?
Michigan.
Did he do that?
Yeah.
You didn't hear this?
didn't see this? No.
Oh, see, you were on the... So he wore a ski mask into the Kohl Center because his thought was, we're going to steal a win. Dude.
And had 0 field goals in the second half and lost.
I said yesterday to Kyle, I'm like, that kid, unfortunately, every time he tries to do something cool, it backfires on him. He's such an, you know what, hole. That's what I said yesterday. He's such that way that I don't even think he's funny. Like Matthew Meyer's kind of funny, like in a weird kind of funny way. Hunter Dickinson's just a
the fact that he's doing a podcast with Jordan Bohannon should tell you everything about what category you're putting him in.
You just explained it. I'll go with Michigan, though.
It's in Ann Arbor?
Yep.
Yeah, Michigan.
Yeah.
Illinois at Ohio State.
Illinois.
And Rutgers at Penn State.
See, I see Rutgers winning that one. Like, we've let Penn State win a couple in a row here.
Okay.
At Penn State, though? I mean, that home court's nothing,
they are
though.
6-9. Yeah, I say Rutgers. Rutgers is the team that'll get in their grill.
Rutgers will win one of at Wisconsin or at Penn State.
I agree.
So we gave Wisconsin the win in Madison.
Yeah,
let's give Rutgers this one.
I think that's fair.
Indiana hosting Iowa.
Indiana.
Nebraska hosting Michigan State.
Michigan State. Izzo will have his team ready. You think?
Yeah, we've gone against Michigan State a handful of times, too.
It's time for them to win.
They need to win, yeah. Michigan State.
Penn State at Northwestern.
The two enigmas right now in Big Ten basketball. I got to go Northwestern.
We need to bring in, we haven't done it yet. Bring in Kyle as the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Penn State. Kyle, what say you?
I'll take Northwestern at home.
Boo. No, I'm just kidding.
They're just, I keep betting against them here recently.
I know,
They
me
prove
too.
me wrong. Maryland at Ohio State.
Does Ohio State get one?
Yeah, you guys are going to have Ohio State losing out and going like 4-16 here, which might happen.
Well, they're 3-something, right? I say they beat Maryland.
Let's take Ohio State.
Yeah.
Give Holtman one of these.
Okay.
Otherwise, he's going to have to walk away or be told to walk away.
He's my boy that everybody reminds me about.
Illinois has to beat Michigan at home, right?
Yes.
The first appearance, ski mask or not, where
that's
Hunter
right.
Dickinson will actually, as of right now, play at State Farm Center.
I forgot he's never played here. He was sick the one year.
Well, he had, he was coming off of COVID and wasn't.
Yeah.
His conditioning wasn't good enough to play in the game, quote unquote.
Even though we delayed the game like 2 weeks, Kevin Warren's like, whatever you guys need at Michigan. Just let me know. I'm taking Illinois. Beat Michigan. Yeah.
Rutgers at Minnesota.
Rutgers.
And Purdue at Wisconsin.
Purdue's not going to lose that, right? Fighting for a 1 seed. Is that the last game of the Big Ten slate?
No, we got a couple more here.
Okay,
that final weekend. Ohio State at Michigan State.
Michigan State.
Michigan at Indiana.
Indiana, yeah, for sure.
Nebraska at Iowa. Wisconsin at Minnesota.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Maryland at Penn State.
Yeah. The Shrewsberries.
Northwestern at Rutgers.
Northwestern at Rutgers.
Oh, Rutgers wins that.
Rutgers.
Yeah.
And finally, Illinois at Mackey Arena against Purdue.
The Boilers, yep.
All right. So, if all that happens,
here it is. Drum roll. If I had the drum roll.
Go from like last place up.
You want me to do Illinois first? Or
Give
no?
your just initial reaction.
I'm scared for you to do Illinois.
Do you want me to do Illinois here or not? Or to do other teams?
You got to be top 4, right?
How about double seed? Here's the matchups on Wednesday. Here's the matchups on Thursday.
Okay,
do it that way.
I like that.
11 seed Penn State against 14 Minnesota and 12 Nebraska against 13 Ohio State. That's the Wednesday.
All right.
To Thursday, the 8-9 game is Michigan State, Michigan.
Ooh, okay.
Sign me up for that.
I like that.
And the 7-10 is Maryland, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
And then
so 7-10 would play
the 2.
Okay.
So
yep.
The 6 seed would play the Penn State-Minnesota winner.
Gotcha.
The 5 seed would play 12-13. The 6 seed is Northwestern, and the 5 seed is Rutgers.
Holy crap, we've got Illinois on a double bye.
And Illinois is the 4.
Interesting.
And then Purdue's 1, Indiana 2?
Purdue 1, Indiana 2, Iowa 3. You guys loved Iowa in some of those games, so.
I feel like we were very fair on the Illinois.
That's exactly how I think it'll play out for Illinois.
Too.
I think they'll lose at Indiana and at Purdue, and then they'll take care of business at home.
There were probably six or 7 games in there where we, or maybe more than that.
Tough. Yeah.
There were 10 games in there where we're like, ugh. So in that scenario, Illinois is the 4.
Yep.
It felt like maybe we gave Iowa a little bit too much. Maybe we.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe we gave Iowa too much.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you said that. My fault. What did you say, Kyle?
I said if this happens, they'd be awaiting the Rutgers versus Nebraska-Ohio State winner in the Friday.
I think that's
I'd be all right with that.
Perfect setup.
And then you'd play Purdue?
Then Purdue, unless Michigan or Michigan State takes them down.
That'd be a good setup to at least get to Saturday.
Yeah. Now, when we come in tomorrow, Kyle, and we're already 0-2 in the projections, we'll know that we just wasted everybody's time.
I'll say right now, I think Maryland beats Purdue tonight.
Wow.
At home.
Would that be... What would that mean for Purdue? Would that be losing 3 out of 4?
It would.
Whew. Which would really frustrate you if you're Illinois about going to Penn State and losing, or even Indiana, losing at Northwestern, because another loss from Purdue could have really opened this thing up.
Just for fun, I took Maryland over Purdue tonight, kept everything else the same. Illinois drops to the 6.
No way.
What? With 1 game?
Yes.
Okay, well then go Purdue. Boiler up.
Would Penn State still stay there at 11?
Yes.
So Illinois would have to play Penn State again?
Yeah, they would.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
That. Okay. I guess you have to cheer for.
No.
If you're an Illinois fan, you might want to root for Purdue tonight.
I'm going to Friday of the Big Ten tournament this year. First time going. If Illinois plays Penn State on Thursday, I'm nightmare.
I love it. That was cool. That was fun. We should do that every Thursday. Yep. Like next Thursday, we should go back to that and see where we're at and kind of go from there. I think that'd be cool. Let's talk baseball.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Coming up next, Jeff Jones talks some Cardinals baseball. Belleville News Democrat. Is he down in Jupiter yet?
He is in Jupiter.
Lucky.
He is in Jupiter. I know. I asked him that. He's like, yep. By the way, Jason asked about Kevin Warren. Any announcements on the Big Ten commissioner? I haven't heard anything.
I haven't seen anything.
So, don't know. Yeah, let's talk baseball from Jupiter next.
Maybe it'll be Ed DeChellis.
I'm good with that.
I don't know what he's doing these days. All right, let's talk Cardinals baseball. Coming up next after the break, Jeff Jones. This is The Drive.
Don't miss your chance to cheer on Fighting Illini basketball this season.
Deafening in here, 15,000, another shutout.
We need all of Illini Nation to help us defend State Farm Center.
Shannon, hello! Slam dunk.
Great seat locations are still available for you to see Illinois basketball live this season.
And the celebration is on!
Get your tickets today at fightingillini.com.
When you're buying a battery, it's important to look beyond just the price and make sure you're buying a quality battery. So when you're buying one from the big box store, make sure you ask the question, what's the date on this battery? Is it dependable? Sometimes the big box stores have batteries that have been sitting on the shelf for years. Or you can just come to Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable, and buy your battery from the people who only do batteries. Interstate Batteries at 2504 North Madison, Champaign, way out there, but totally worth the drive. How much is dependable worth to you? Interstate Batteries open 6 days a week.
Hi, this is Kirk Lehman with Aftershock Decals and Design. And right now we are looking for an honest, hardworking individual that wants a career with Aftershock Decals and Design. If you have any kind of experience wrapping vehicles, tinting windows, we want you.
You can't touch this.
No, not that kind of rapper. Can't touch this. Please go to our website at aftershockdd.com, click on the jobs tab, and send in your resume. We want you. aftershockdd.com.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Discussing details about the Chinese spy balloon and other objects recently shot down over U.S. and Canadian airspace. The president says of the three most recent objects,
nothing right now suggests they were related to China's spy balloon program or that they were surveillance vehicles from any other country.
Officials say those objects posed a possible threat to civilian aviation, but are likely commercial, recreational, or scientific balloons. President Biden says more objects have been detected because radar and other tracking systems have been adjusted to improve detection. Pennsylvania's freshman Democratic Senator John Fetterman's back in the hospital. His office reports the senator admitted himself to Walter Reed Hospital last night to get treatment for clinical depression. His staff says the 53-year-old has faced depression on and off his whole life, but it became severe in recent weeks. Fetterman suffered a stroke during the campaign and was hospitalized briefly last week after feeling lightheaded. White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre today discussing federal efforts to help those affected by the release of toxic chemicals from a train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio, as Governor Mike DeWine says his office has been told the state isn't eligible for FEMA assistance.
We're deploying teams from HHS and the CDC now. As you all know, these needs are much more expansive than what FEMA can meet.
Residents say they're concerned about air and water quality following the chemical release. A special grand jury that investigated efforts by then-President Trump and his allies to overturn his election loss in Georgia is expressing concerns that some of the witnesses called to testify before the panel may have lied under oath. That grand jury also reporting that it found no evidence of widespread voter fraud in Georgia, something former President Trump has long maintained. America's listening to Fox News.
It can be dangerously easy to steal your identity during tax season because so much sensitive info is all together.
Before we start the annual meeting of Sean's personal info, has anyone seen Social Security number?
Not me.
Nope. Nuh-uh. Oh no. He's been stolen.
LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. If you become a victim, we'll work to fix it. No one can monitor all transactions, but you can save up to 25% off your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Identity theft protection starts here.
Dell Technologies President's Day business event starts now with deals to power America's doers and dreamers. Save on select performance business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL for President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Ukraine faced another overnight missile assault from Russia.
36 missiles in 2 hours rained down on cities from east to west. Ukraine says it shot down 16 of them, a less successful defense than it claimed to have put up in previous attacks. Authorities say a 79-year-old woman was killed and at least 7 others injured. The head of Ukraine's presidential office warned Russia appears to have changed its tactics in order to get round air defenses. We're also told a fire broke out at a critical infrastructure facility in the western province of Lviv. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg today urged Turkey to ratify the applications of Finland and Sweden to join the military organization, repeating his claim that the Nordic neighbors have done enough to satisfy Ankara's demand that they crack down on extremism. All 30 NATO members approved their applications and 28 have ratified their accession. Only Turkey and Hungary have yet failed to do so. Chicago's homeless problem is now spreading over to O'Hare International Airport.
Homeless camped out near baggage belts and near exit doors have passengers on edge and worried about the growing problem and whether or not they're safe at the world's third largest airport. One passenger says, quote, I flew back to O'Hare Terminal 3 last week. I had never seen such a homeless problem in baggage in the 50 years I've lived in Cook County. It's not even that cold out. The Chicago Department of Aviation downplaying the homeless issue by calling it a, quote, common occurrence at all airports airports, saying in a statement the CDA is aware of the increasing population of unsheltered individuals at O'Hare International Airport. It's a common occurrence at this airport and airports nationwide when temperatures drop in the winter months.
Fox's Marianne Rafferty. Tens of thousands of revelers danced in the streets of Cologne, Dusseldorf, Bonn, and other cities and towns across the Rhineland today as they celebrated the traditional start of Carnival in Germany. I'm Rich Dennison, and this is Fox News.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny.
Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage. I'm kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over. I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now.
I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer get a salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack Dogs. I'm in a good mood. Is it Friday? It's
Kinda
not,
feels
is
like
it?
doesn't
It does. Yeah, I'm in a good mood. Don't have a basketball game to go to tonight. Now, you know me. I love going to Andrews games more than anything in the world, but it's nice to have a night. You know, just kind of have a night. Now, if only the Cardinals were playing tonight.
That would be perfect.
Oh, that'd be heavenly.
It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. Derek Piper, Lon Tay. We're going to go to the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. Excited to talk Cardinals baseball with our buddy Jeff Jones, Belleville News Democrat. Jeff, how are we doing today, and how you enjoying Jupiter, Florida right now?
I'm doing all right, guys. The good news is that down here for spring training, all of the days kind of run together, so any day can be Friday if you really want it to be.
I
don't care what day it would be. We're sitting looking outside. It's dreary.
Yeah.
Is it 40? I don't know.
Oh, man.
What's it like down there? Just get us in full envy mode.
Yeah, as I flip over to the weather widget on my phone here, it says 80 degrees and sunshine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paradise.
Go ahead,
My sunburn's pretty bad, though, if that helps.
My sunburn's bad. Hey, today on the docket I saw was Adam Wainwright taking batting practice. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was great. It was Adam's first chance to get out and throw to live hitters so far this spring, at least in any kind of structured setting. So got out there and threw about 25 pitches to a group that included Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado. And looked like Adam Wainwright. There was perhaps one sinker to Arenado that didn't quite get a lot of stink until it landed beyond the fence in left field, but that tends to happen from time to time.
See, that's good news, bad news, right? I mean, the good news on the other end of that is Arenado smoked one. Was the storyline number one for Jeff Jones going down there, was it Wilson Contreras?
Yeah, so here's what I would say. That to me was storyline 1B and related to 1A, which we also saw resolved in the first bit of camp, which was sort of the future of the front office and what the kind of the guidance looking forward looks like for that. Because, in terms of Contreras, it's definitely exciting to see him in a Cardinal uniform and to see him sort of work through his first camp. But I also think, frankly, there was a little bit of, we know who Wilson Contreras is, and he's reliable. He can be counted on to put up his numbers and to handle a staff pretty well, and that's why they went out and got him. So there's excitement in that, but it's also it's predictable. And frankly, look, as thrilled as he's been to be here, it definitely has the feel of a guy who's been here for much longer than just literally a couple of days at this point.
Now, Jeff, when I listen to our friends in KMOX, I know that it's such a torn fan base, if you will, about Mo. And obviously, I'm a guy that I always enjoyed Walt Jocketty. It took me a while to understand what analytics even means. I still scoff at it and laugh at it, but obviously we're fully into that. And it's hard to say a bad word about a guy in Mozeliak that has been above 500 every season as GM of the Cardinals. So with that said, what do you think of the extension, and how do you think Cardinals fans will look at it?
Yeah, I think if nothing else, what we learned from this extension, which I think we probably already knew, but has definitely been reinforced, is that he's as much a part of the fabric of the organization as Bill DeWitt is at this point. And when he decides that his time is up, and could that be at the end of this contract? That seems entirely possible. But when he decides that the time has come, then that'll be when the time comes, and not a moment before. I think in terms of success, you're right. You point to 15 consecutive years of the winning record as head of baseball operations, and I think if you were his boss, you would point to a very stable organization that turns out a lot of money and year in and year out, but also crucially is a good professional organization. If nothing else, in terms of the Cardinals just being a business, they run smoothly. The chains of command are logical, and the people in charge are able to sort of mediate whatever they need to take care of. If nothing else, he makes the team run correctly, and that, frankly, has a whole lot of value in an industry where there's so much insanity in other clubs year in and year out.
Great answer. And Jeff, at 52, drink, by the way. That's what we do here every time I mention my age. At 52, I've seen a lot of good with the Cardinals organization. Thank God, as an Arizona Cardinals fan and a Blues fan and such, that I've had at least the stable of the St. Louis Cardinals. But I've also seen some bad. The 70s weren't good. Obviously, the 90s weren't good. So to me, the realization that the Cardinals are second all time in World Series, and they still only have 12? I mean, that's not a lot, right? So when I look at this, I think personally that Mozeliak has done a good job. And I don't think he gets the credit for getting a guy like Goldschmidt and Arenado. I mean, those are two of the biggest names in baseball. They finished 1 and 2 or 1 and 3, in the MVP. I feel like we don't give him the credit for that. Yet we still mash on him for not going all the way. And don't get me wrong, there have been times where I feel like we need to be more aggressive. So just so I can pass on this Mo extension talk and get on with baseball, as Derek Piper's itching to do, does Mozeliak deserve a little bit of a bashing, if you will, because of not going full steam ahead, maybe like Cardinals fans want?
I think the thing to remember about Mo is that ultimately he reports to one man primarily, and that if that is the case, that the Cardinals maybe have not fully adjusted to the speed of the marketplace, and that maybe they have not gone as forcefully in a given year toward a championship as fans might prefer. I don't think that edict comes from the top of the baseball operations department. Right. I think that it comes from ownership. And look, say what you want about Bill DeWitt, there's no way I think you could logically make an argument that he's anything but a blessing as an owner for a baseball team. If you had to pick anybody to own your favorite baseball team, you'd probably pick Steve Cohen. But if you had to pick a second person to probably own, to own your baseball team, I'd be hard pressed to make an argument against Bill DeWitt.
Agreed.
So I think that you have to just sort of understand where some of that institutional control is coming from.
Good goal.
Jeff Jones is our guest, covers the Cardinals for the Belleville News-Democrat. You can follow him on Twitter at JMJones. I see some cool videos here of Waino throwing to Arenado, throwing to Goldschmidt, as well as Dylan Carlson. You had a funny exchange, but I'll let you describe, where Waino apparently said, if you're working on anything today, let me know and I can show it to you. And to which Goldie said what?
Yeah, Goldie, I think seasoning an opportunity, told Waino that what he wanted to work on was some 95-mile-an-hour heat, which they unfortunately don't think Adam was able to dial up for him today.
That's good, man. That's awesome.
How much does that happen where you have the inter-squad thing? I know that as you get rolling probably with games in spring training, it doesn't happen as much, but for your ones going against ones, like the starting rotation or even some of the premier arms in the bullpen throwing to those guys, how much does that happen in a spring training?
It happens a lot. These first couple of weeks when pitchers and catchers have reported, and it especially will happen even more about a week from now once position players have to report and the full squad is in. Those live BP days are really interesting days. Now, it's important not to take it too seriously and take it too competitively, because, again, you see a guy stand in for a live VP. Sometimes he's not there to swing. Sometimes he's there to only do certain things. You know, there's always work going on. It's very rarely just raw competition, But, you know, sometimes you see Nolan Arenado hit a home run against Adam Wainwright. And you see these guys kind of jump up. Or you see later in camp, and this was an example from last spring, where you had Gordon Graceffo, who got brought over from minor league camp over because Goldschmidt and Arenado, and I forget who the third person was, but it was some of the big hitters on the big league roster wanted to face live pitching that day. They needed somebody to do it, so they went and they got Gordon Graceffo from minor league camp, and they walked out of the cage going, "Who the hell was that guy?" You know, and that's how you kind of get a view of some of these young guys and what their future might look like.
Lon mentioned Contreras as being a big storyline going into spring training. I want to hit on a couple of the other ones that you have. Jack Flaherty, there's been buzz coming out how good he looks, how he's touching a little bit
Contract
higher
year
on the radar gun in comparison to coming back from injury last year, which of course has been something he hasn't been able to shake, is going to the IL. But what do you make of kind of that early buzz? Are you putting much stock in that, and what do you kind of think of Jack Flaherty as someone that can be an ace, but it's been a while since we've seen that consistently?
Yeah, I think if Jack is healthy, then he's going to be what they need him to be. And as to whether Jack can stay healthy, I don't know. I honestly have no good way to predict that. We were talking about that this afternoon over in the workroom, in terms of the best predictor for future injury in baseball is previous injury. And so when you look at the five guys who comprise the Cardinals pitching staff right now today, all five of them have had major injuries at some point in their career, right? Everybody, all of those five guys have had major injuries that have cost them parts of seasons. And so from that perspective, there's reason to be nervous about all of them. But the other way to look at it is they look healthy today.
Yep.
They look strong today. There's nothing going on that I would look at and go, this is a pretty big red flag. This guy wasn't able to work out, or this guy's velocity is down. None of that has happened so far in the first 4 or 5 days of camp. And Ali Marmol told us yesterday that there were no red flags on anybody's physical when they checked in. So guys are healthy today. Some guys are going to get hurt for sure by the end of spring, probably within a week. That's how this goes. Pitching is bad for your body. It makes your arm hurt. But for now, I think I guess the thing to say is this is the best week of the year to be optimistic until anything bad has happened.
Boom. That's perfect. Jeff Jones, Belleville News Democrat. A couple more for him. He is in Jupiter covering the Cardinals. Is this team better with Edman at second and DeYoung at short, or is it better with Edman at short and Nolan Gorman at second?
It's better with Edman and Gorman right now today. If you fast forward 2 months into the season and Paul DeYoung is 6, and Nolan Gorman looks like he looked last season,
right?
Then it's a different conversation. It's closer, to be honest. But I still think, given the sort of raw power you see out of Nolan Gorman, it's really hard to argue against that alignment.
Yes.
The interesting question for me is less about Edman and DeYoung than it is about Edman and Gorman versus Edman and Donovan, because you have to figure out a way to get Brendan Donovan into the lineup.
Good call.
And you have to figure out a way to get Nolan Gorman into the lineup if he's going to be on your big league roster to start the season. And so there are pieces they have to put together. Now, if DH in the NL, there's a lot of righties, and Nolan Gorman hits left-handed. So there's a really easy way to see how he fits maybe on opening day, for example.
Good call.
But that is that's the comparison, I guess, that they're going to have to draw on a decision they're going to have to make at some point going into the season.
Jeff, I think for the most part, especially Cardinals fans, that'll be watching some at-bats on TV when they're able to see it, or box score watching is what we're going to see out of Jordan Walker this spring training. What do you make of the opportunity that's ahead of him? How real of a chance do you think he has to make the big league roster, and what do you think he'd have to do to make that a reality?
It's really interesting because oftentimes, and actually Mo talked about this the other day, oftentimes they come into camp and they talk about competition, but everybody's looking around going, this is not real. Like, we know who the guys are. What are we doing here? This year is different because of the WBC and with so many guys being out of camp. The Cardinals are going to have 19 players in the WBC. Now, not all of those are big leaguers. Some of those are guys that, at lower minor league levels. But there are going to be guys missing, and there are going to be opportunities. And the Cardinals are going to use those opportunities to let Jordan Walker swing the bat. So, what does he have to do to make the big league roster, number one, he has to hit. He's got to come out and have the sort of spring where his bat is undeniable, the power is undeniable, and he's a hitter who improves your team immediately on day one. He probably also needs to acquit himself well enough in the outfield. I don't think the Cardinals are in a spot where they want Walker on the opening day roster, but he has to strictly DH. I don't think they want that to be the case. They have to be able to trust him well enough in the outfield. And look, he's athletic. He's got a booming arm, and he's 20 years old. He can figure it out. As the saying goes in Moneyball, it's incredibly hard, but if anybody can figure out, it's a 20-year-old with preternatural athletic ability, and that sort of talent. And the third thing, frankly, that he's probably going to have to do to make the team is to convince them that whatever risk they have in sending him down is less important than what he can contribute to them now. Because it's really like the Cardinals historically have not been a team that has really messed around with service time in the way that we think about traditionally other teams doing. Right. They did it a little bit maybe with Dylan Carlson in that weird 2020 season, but that really has not been a thing that they've done. And so in Walker's case, if he is the kind of player that they hope he is, he would then be the kind of player who maybe you would see some of that with. But if he hits well enough and he contributes well enough, and he's undeniable in the way that, whatever value maybe you lose on the back end of his 7 years of control is swamped by how good he is now, then that's what he has to show us.
Jeff, if you'd just be bad at this, we'd quit bothering you, but you're too good at it, so we have to bother you on occasion. He's a great follow. He's a great follow on Twitter, as Pipe said, at JM Jones. Since we're not down in Jupiter, just have Claibs buy you a beer and say it's from us, and he'll take care of you.
I'll tell you right now, there's no shortage of a willingness from Claibs to buy folks beer.
He is the man. He is the absolute. He came, Jeff, years ago to our Cardinals caravan, and of course I had known Mike in terms of knowing who he was. I had never met Mike, and to then meet him, begin a friendship, and to understand that I know now one of the nicest people that have ever walked this planet, it is amazing how it is to know Mike Claiborne. And when he comes on, and Derek Piper can attest, the stories become almost to the point where we have to just stop the show because it is just it's crazy.
He's got enough stories that only include Michael Jordan.
It is incredible. Well, tell Claibs and the rest of the crew hi down there. And Jeff, truly, we appreciate your time. Great insight as always, Jeff. Thank you.
Will do. Anytime, guys. Thank you again.
Thanks, buddy. He's really good. I tell you, Jeff, attacks a question. You ask the question, and you'd think, all right, he's going to think about this one. Nope. And he gives an unbelievably intelligent, what am I trying to say?
Intelligent.
That's it. Answer to it. So that was good. Kyle, did you learn a little bit about the best franchise in baseball? What did you think of that?
No comment.
Do you feel better? You kind of feel like, yeah, that made me feel good.
Made me feel terrible. Hearing him talk about Wilson Contreras and how the Cardinals are competing every single year.
Oh, man. Do you, not you, Kyle, you're done as a Cub fan. Derek Piper, do you trust Jack Flaherty to stay healthy all year? It is a contract year.
No, I don't.
I don't either. He looks good now. I saw him throwing yesterday, I think it was, and boy, he was popping it, and he looks good. He's always looked the part, right? I mean, he looks like the billion-dollar guy with the looks. He's got the perfect body. I mean, for a pitcher, he throws hard. Obviously, he doesn't throw as hard, it seems like, as you think he should, but I'm not blaming him there. He's got that cutter/slider when that's working. I mean, you asked the question. Jack Flaherty could be one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball. Could be. There's long odds against that, but he could be. And can you imagine if you got that out of Flaherty this year? Miles Michaelis looked good last year. Steven Matz, I think, is going to be pretty good. Jordan Montgomery came over, and I was thoroughly impressed with him.
Yep.
And to be able to have Matz and Montgomery as two lefties in there, don't forget you still have Waino, and we'll see how he does. You've got Dakota Hudson, who I think is going to have a bounce-back year because those shoulder injuries take a little bit more time than you think. And I think we all lost some patience in Dakota Hudson. Now, I look at it through a different glasses because like 2 years ago, I went to 4 games. Dakota Hudson pitched every one of them, and we won every one of them. So, hell, he's Bob Gibson to me. But I think having a guy like Dakota Hudson is like a 6th option, and I would be totally fine with the Cardinals. In other words, there isn't one pitcher, maybe Miles, that I have to have every 5 days early this season. And I know the way, Major League Baseball throws a lot of off days early on in the schedule to try to help teams kind of get organized, try to rainouts, of course. You always expect that in April. But I just feel like I could see if Dakota does anything and the rest of these guys perform like they should, I could totally see the Cardinals going to a 6-man rotation for at least a month to save innings on arms. I mean, if there's one thing the Cardinals, if you can almost set your watch by, it's a starter getting injured. And unfortunately, we know that all too well. I would love to go to a 6-man rotation, and maybe if you have that off day, you let Miles throw that 6th day instead of, you can't let Miles go 7, and these guys go 7. But you tell Dakota, let's say, if he's the odd man out, you tell him if we're playing 6 games in a row, you're going to pitch day 6. But if there's an off day anywhere in between, we're not doing that. I don't know. I'm bullish on this Cardinals pitching staff this season. I really am. And, of course, if Flaherty stays healthy, which you answered correctly with no, you don't trust him. If he stays healthy, I think this Cardinals team could be really good.
I agree with you. I do think that depth has the potential to be an asset for you with the rotation. Again, we'll see as far as injuries go.
Yeah.
Liberatore's got good ability. He was getting roughed up a little bit there last year, but that's a young guy that is still figuring out. Flaherty, he can be, what was that? Was it 2019?
I think.
Where he was second half and on, like after the All-Star break, he was arguably the best pitcher in the National League.
He was. Yeah,
but we just haven't
8-1 or something.
Gotten back to that point.
And a lot of it's injury. So,
and I think that the top, as always, especially when you get into a postseason series, your top half of a rotation are really your ace to battle Max Scherzer against the Mets, Zach Wheeler against the Phillies. You start going around the National League, and having that top-end guy is pretty important.
It is, and the Cardinals really don't have that, do they?
Not.
Miles is a good 1A or maybe a 2, high
He's
2.
probably a 2, yeah.
Waino's not anymore. Matz and Montgomery aren't. You don't have that guy like you did with Chris Carpenter, like the Cubs did with John Lester. And
Arrieta.
Arrieta. That's right, that year.
Obviously, Waino in his prime.
Yep. You just don't have that. I got one other Cardinals question. I know we're running heavy. Are the Cardinals pride themselves on defense? Totally. They build this organization on defense, and they're really good. And I think that now that the shift is banned, I think that will aid a team like the Cardinals, who I think they're very good defensively. Nolan Gorman, it could be a little troublesome. Are the Cardinals going to be so bullish defensively that we're not going to let Jordan Walker turn into what he needs to turn into? In other words, it took a Bobby Bonilla injury to bring on the second best player that's ever played in the Cardinals organization, and maybe the top, with Albert Pujols. They weren't ready to throw him in, even though everything he did leading up to that was like, how do we not play him? Nope, we're not doing it. He can't be this good. I feel like Jordan Walker, I'm not comparing him to Albert yet. He's got a lot of years to impress me before that. And I still am blown away when I look at Albert Pujols' first 11 seasons. It is truly, I saw greatness. And then last season, I saw it again, the last half of the season. I'm not saying Jordan Walker's going to be Albert Pujols hitting .330 with 38 home runs and 120 RBI every year, which is what Pujols did every year. Every freaking year. But are you going to let a lineup of O'Neill, Carlson, and Nootbaar go out there every stinking game and say, well, I don't think Walker's ready? I don't care.
Because of his defense?
I don't care if he's 20% worse defensively. Yeah, because of that.
if we get to that point, we're going to be talking about it pretty regularly.
We are.
On the air. I will
and of course,
say that.
you've got the DH now.
You do.
Like Jeff pointed out with Nolan Gorman. That's perfect. I mean, you played Donovan at second.
Yeah, I still want to
short.
see Donovan be a focal point of the lineup.
Just to me, I've seen enough of this outfield for the last 10 years.
I agree.
I've seen enough of it. Did you know Oscar Mercado is back with the team? Did you know that?
What?
The kid that got traded to Baltimore, who was a number 2
to
pick.
Cleveland, right?
Or Cleveland. Good call. He is back with the Cardinals. He's in camp. He's a non-roster invite. Just put Jordan Walker in right field to start this season. And then you let the other 3 battle for center and left field. It's that simple. And obviously, late in games, maybe you take Walker out. Although, how do you take that out? Just let him be, like the Beagles. Like the Beatles said. Let it be.
Well, Tyler O'Neill might fix it by getting hurt yet again.
Right.
So that could happen for sure.
I mean, when O'Neill was healthy, he was an MVP candidate.
I know. Not convinced that for as good as Lars Nootbaar's second half was last year.
Yeah.
We're all the way to the point of awarding him. You're an everyday right fielder now.
Right.
Like, really?
Yeah.
You sure? Could be.
You're fun. Newt.
Yeah.
It's an awesome story. Not if Jordan Walker's going to hit 30 home runs.
And as we know, Dylan Carlson, an untouchable when it comes to trades.
There's a lot. I'm excited for this Cardinals season. I think this is going to be a pretty damn good team. I really do.
But I hope you're right. I am excited for baseball for sure. On the note of defense, we just saw the Phillies go to the World Series.
Yeah.
They weren't exactly
good call.
A great defensive team, but they had a bunch of just boppers in the lineup.
That's a great call.
And their lineup was just overwhelming people.
You called it when we started doing. Now, granted, do you know what Philadelphia finished? Let me ask you this.
In the East?
Yeah.
Were they third?
Third.
Yeah.
87 wins. Do you know how many wins the Cardinals had last year? 93. Isn't that funny to look back? Braves won it. Braves and Mets each had 101 wins in the East. Phillies had 87. Cardinals had 93. Brewers were 7 back. Cubs finished 19 back. I'm only saying that.
The Cardinals did get to play the Central a lot.
They did. That helped immensely. They don't get to do that as much this year, right? Like 13 games, I think. Dodgers won the West, 111 wins. Padres were 89. I was just going through that because I always forget. Real quick, American League, Yankees 99 wins, Jays 92, Rays 86. All 3 made the playoffs. Guardians 92. Do you know the White Sox finished exactly 500? 81-81. And then the Astros won 106 and the Mariners 90. That's amazing, man. I'm ready for baseball. Let's go.
On the note, let's talk a little bit more. I saw something on Twitter today. I don't know if you stumbled into it or those out there listening. On the note of the NL Central and a top-end arm, Coleman Ace, did you see what happened?
No.
Today, or
man,
what was said at
me
least.
Right now.
That's a tease. Come back. I'll fill you in.
Okay.
This is The Drive.
Busey Bank, leading the way to your financial wellness. No matter where your financial journey begins, Pathways banking options at Busey are designed with your goals in mind. Busey Bank, building strong financial futures, one family, one street, one city at a time. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Jesse with Lands Drain Cleaning and Underground Solutions here to tell you today, hey, we've got solutions for you. Do you have gurgling toilets, slow drains? Have you been told that you have to jackhammer and mess up your entire house and property just to fix a pipe? Have you been told your sewer lines failed? Your drain lines don't work? Call us today. Have our expert drain cleaning team come out, run your lines, camera them, locate, and we can offer you a solution today. Lands Drain Cleaning and Underground Solutions. Why call anyone else?
BMW, Buick, GMC, Honda, and Subaru. Welcome to Sarah Champagne. We can handle all your car repairs on site, including paintless dent repair, bumpers, windshields, everything in between. We have an amazing selection of new or pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Shop from home and buy online or reserve your vehicle before it hits our website or dealership. Sarah Champagne is home of the Sarah One Price Promise, delivering an honest and transparent buying experience. Hurry in or shop online at sarahchampagne.com.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com. Carpet Weavers is flooring their customers. They work with the biggest brands to bring you the best selections and prices on hardwood, luxury tile, carpet, and more. Stop in at 616 West Market View Drive in Champaign and let one of their sales associates help you find the perfect flooring for your lifestyle. Their 100% satisfaction guarantee allows you to be confident in your purchase. Carpet Weavers has been flooring people with beautiful carpet and flooring since 1988. In fact, they're nationally ranked as one of the top 25 specialty flooring stores in the country. Find out more online at carpetweaversflooring.com. I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
Jets Pizza with 2 locations to serve you fast and delicious pizza, wings, Jets bread, boats, or salads. Conveniently located at Round Barn and their newly renovated location at Neal and Green. If you're having friends over to watch football or Illini games, why not put out a crowd-pleasing spread with Jets? Jets Pizza is looking to hire motivated people if you're looking for a lucrative side hustle with great perks. Order online and check out the menu at jetspizza.com. Everybody loves Jets.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he has a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Every month we honor police officers because of the importance of what they do every day to keep us safe and all the hard work putting their lives on the line literally about every day. Today we honor from the Champaign Police Department, Jonathan Christensen.
How about the training and getting into this? Kind of a recruitment pitch for Champaign Police.
Yeah, if you, especially with our new chief now, if you want that family-like atmosphere, we're the place to go.
Tell me about Chief Tim.
Yeah, Tim Tyler.
Let's see. He's a high-energy dude, and he's a good man of faith, and I think that's something to lead by. So I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's done one hell of a job coming in.
Can we get Chief Tyler on the radio?
Yeah, we
like
sure
to do
Hey, he'd be good for the radio.
So he's got the high energy, but every police officer I've talked to loves Tim Tyler.
Yes, we're happy to have him.
That's exciting.
And get him on the radio. You'll see.
Crossroads Contractor Supply, delivering within a 150-mile radius of Champaign-Urbana, supporting our law enforcement official of the month.
Think you have to settle for mediocre car insurance to save money? Think again. It's possible to get superior coverage and still save money with Erie Insurance. Customers who switched to Erie saved up to $951. It pays to compare. Switch and save with Erie.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance.
Annual savings based on new customers surveyed in March 2022 who reported savings when switching auto insurance. Individual premiums and savings will vary.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B. Catch my boys Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Drive. Boom, boom, brr.
You're excited about baseball.
I am. We keep talking about it.
I like it.
We had that and another topic that we were talking about.
Yeah. You're excited about that one, too. So am I. I don't know about Kyle. I don't think Kyle was really into it.
Poor Kyle learns a lot. He learns a lot here. I don't know if he's going to walk away from this position as any better in terms of radio talent and or anything, but
I'm sure he will.
Life-wise, he is
There's
going
a
to
lot
be
there.
He might as well be 30 after hearing what we've basically told him in a matter of 3 months? Yeah.
A lot of stories.
A lot of stories.
Well, I got a story to tell you. It's not from me, but it's bringing up one that is national news in baseball. It's not like a major injury or anything like that.
Okay, I thought.
But I did kind of leave it out open-ended as a tease. That's what we do in the radio business.
Yes, we do.
NL Central ace-level pitcher. Can you guess who it is?
Ace-level pitcher. The Pirates don't have one of those. I don't believe the Reds have one of those. The Cubs, they've got Kyle Hendricks, who kills us, but I wouldn't consider him an ace. The Brewers are the only one we haven't. They have what? Peralta,
Woodruff, and Corbin Burns.
Oh, the guy that at one time had 2 straight games against the Cardinals and struck out, I think, 30 and walked nobody.
Yes.
Tell me he's done for the year.
No, he's not. I mentioned
Japan.
it was not a season-ending injury or anything. He won the Cy Young in 2021. He had to go to arbitration with the Brewers, and there was a hearing, and
the Brewers went to arbitration with him.
Went to arbitration with Burns. They won the hearing.
Oh, no.
And apparently what they didn't win was the fact. So Burns lost the hearing and received $10 million from the Brewers rather than his request of $10.75 million.
You're kidding me. You have one of the best pitchers in baseball, and you scoff over $750,000.
And it did not go well. The hearing did not go well. He did not like what he heard from the team, and he spoke about that to the media. I saw this on Twitter. Some very interesting comments.
I can't wait to hear this.
From Corbin Burns.
At the hearing, flew in the night before. Had the hearing all day Tuesday. Spent Valentine's Day on a plane. Got home at 10, 11 o'clock and got to see my wife before she fell asleep. So that was kind of how the Valentine's Day went. So that was fun. But like I say, you kind of find out your true value. You think you work hard for 7 years in the organization and 5 years with the big league team, and you get in there and basically they value you much different than what you thought you contributed to the organization. And it's just it's obviously it's tough to hear, it's tough to take, but they're trying to do what they can to win a hearing. But I think there was obviously other ways that they could have gone about it, and probably been a little more respectful with the way they went about it. But at the end of the day, here we are. They obviously they won it, but when it came down to winning or losing the hearing, it was more than that for me.
Corbin, this is everyone's fear for a player, especially a star player, going to a hearing, that it creates just some maybe not bad blood, but just some hard feelings that weren't there before. How do you guys repair that?
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that the relationship is definitely hurt from what perspired over the last couple weeks. There's really no way getting around that. Obviously, we're professionals, and we're going to go out there and do our job, and I'm going to keep giving what I can every fifth day that I go out there. But when some of the things that are said that for instance, basically put me in the forefront of the reason why we didn't make the postseason last year. That's something that probably doesn't need to be said. We can go about a hearing without having to do that. So that's kind of one of those things that obviously there was no attacking of character, of person of who I was, but just some of the stuff that was said that definitely didn't need to be said is something that I think kind of disappointed everyone.
And there you have it.
Here's what I hope doesn't happen. He gets hurt. Now I want him to win 25 games this season. Because look, I see both sides. I am one of the more neutral dudes when it comes to that. One thing I give the Cardinals a lot of credit for usually is they avoid that stuff. They avoid arbitration. This year, they're at arbitration with Genesis Cabrera, and there's one other player. I can't recall whom, whatever it is. The Cardinals have normally been They've normally erred on the side of don't let this get to arbitration. Because what he's saying, if you're not familiar with it, you literally go into a arbiter and both sides tell you why. He tells you how great he is, and the Brewers tell you how bad he is, essentially, and how he's not worth an extra $750,000. Did you tell me he won a Cy Young?
He won the Cy Young in 2021.
And you scoffed at $750,000. Corbin Burnes will not be with the Brewers after this year.
I was just going to say, unrestricted free agent in 2025.
I'll take him in a heartbeat.
One of the best pitchers in baseball.
Unfortunately, they're not going to make a trade with a Central team. Although Derek Gould brought this up the other day on Post-Dispatch, now that you're not playing your other division teams as much as you used to, like it used to be 19 games, I think, right? This year it's like 13. Does that mean you'll see more interdivision? Is it interdivision or inter Sandman? Interdivision trades to where maybe you would dish a Corbin Burnes to the Cardinals?
I'd say probably not, because you're still in competition with them for making the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Even if you're not directly playing each other as much, you're still trying to you're in direct competition with them in your division to figure out whether you're going to make the postseason or not.
He was 12-8 with a 2.94 ERA and a WAR of 4. That means more to you than me. And he's basically saying, by the way, he started 33 games. Threw 202 innings, struck out 243, had a whip under 1. Poor guy. Career-wise, 35-19, 3.21 ERA, 670 strikeouts, and a career WAR of 10.4. You're saying you're not worth $750,000 to me. That is that's blown me away right there, what you just played, more than probably anything has in the last 6 months. Wow. He's not going to be with Milwaukee next year.
No. And after them trading Hader at the deadline last year, it's very interesting what's going on in Milwaukee.
I mean, come on. $750,000? I get it that Milwaukee's not a big market team. And look, the Cardinals technically aren't a big market team, but they spend like one. Right? We agree. They're like a top 10 or top 12, I think, in baseball in terms of spending money. They spend it because guys go. We go. 3 million go a year to watch them, and that pays for a lot of bills. Milwaukee doesn't have that advantage, but if you can't pay Corbin Burnes $750,000, I'm sorry, if he walked into me, his agent said, hey, we want 10.75. If I were I'd be like, we'll just give you 11. How about that? I hate odd numbers. We'll give you 11. We'll call it even. Corbin walks away happy. Why is he not signed to a deal anyway? I mean, I get it. I get it. You have to control, right? It's not the Brewers' fault. It's the players. They agreed to that, right? So, and nobody's boo-hooing anybody for making $10 million.
Correct.
But Corbin Burnes,
or even if you're going to push back on it, don't be like, hey, you were one of the reasons we didn't make the postseason last year, if you were wondering.
Wow. You think they threw that at the end like, we rest our case, Judge. And then it's like, oh, wait, we got one other thing.
And they like high five. You really dropped the mic on that one. That's our ace.
The owner's in the back of the room going, oh, crap. We didn't handle that well. Isn't there a website that tells you the value of a guy?
Like expected contract value?
Yeah.
I might be able to find it.
Maybe after a break.
We do got to catch another break, so let's do that, and then we'll return with maybe a projection on Corbin Burnes.
Maybe everything I just said
would be very highly sought after. But yeah, I think that, as far as the realm that you're in Major League Baseball, the difference between less than $1 million and not is not a whole lot. I don't know where they're spending that money otherwise. They're not a high spending team.
Mm-mm.
And that's the one guy you got to keep happy, you would imagine. But
if I had Peralta, Corbin, Burnes, and who's the other one?
And Woodruff.
Those three are with me for 10 years. I would go to those three and say, you three are with us for 10 years. you're never going anywhere. You have 3 of the best pitchers in the division. You might have the 3 best pitchers in your division. Wow. Well, you won't have one of them next year.
Very, very interesting. Got to catch one more break.
Thank you for playing that.
You're welcome.
That was awesome.
When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Maybe circle back to some of the matchups tonight in the Big Ten. Actually, 5:30, Purdue and Maryland tip out there in College Park. So we'll give final thoughts on that and some more thoughts on Corbin Burns after this break.
Levi just sent a cool, interesting text about the Cardinals. So
right.
we'll get to that next.
All right, we'll finish it up. Says The Drive.
Hey, it's Stevie J. I have a Stever offer for you. This is brand new from Lands Underground. You know Lands Heating, Cooling, Plumbing? Well, they have Lands Underground. They can take care of all kinds of stuff, like your sewer pipe out to the street, like any kind of drains or any kind of sump pump. Well, here's our offer for today. If you have a sluggish drain, I, Stevie J, will pay the $200 to have somebody come out and clear out the drain. How annoying. The bathtub pools up, the sink. We've been trying to fix it. I don't have time. Lance Underground will come out and get that done for you. I shall take care of that. Just go to GoStever.com. If you're not a member, we don't know why, because I give out money. All you have to do is join and then click me. You'll get an email tonight if you're one of our winners. I'm going to do 5 homes today with sluggish drains that Lance Underground will take care of, and I'll pay the $200 to them to come out and fix this. GoStever.com, Lands Underground, our Stever offer. GoStever.com, GoStever.com, and good luck.
Find a store full of Valentine's gifts at Prairie Gardens. Unique candles, a PG boutique with purses, jewelry, and accessories, and more. There are so many gifts from which to choose. Plus, now through Valentine's Day, get a live orchid worth $20 free with a $50 gift card purchase. Or get a free papyrus card with a $30 gift card purchase. Come get your free live orchid or papyrus card now through Valentine's Day at Prairie Gardens, Springfield and Duncan, Champaign.
Wouldn't it be nice to visit a car dealership where you didn't feel like you were at an auction? Or didn't feel like you were being taken to the cleaners?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Welcome to Sarah Champagne. At Sarah, they offer a one-price promise. Every vehicle at a fair price, no negotiation, only the best price. Sarah Champagne, Honda, BMW, GMC, Buick, and Subaru. SERRA Champagne.com.
I've got to clean out this garage. Let's see. What's the cheapest and easiest dumpster service in our area?
Here's what I found. The doggy bag.
Think she's broken. I'm not looking for takeout. Siri, try again.
The doggy bag from Bulldog Disposal in Mahomet.
Doggy bag? What's that?
If you got junk that needs to go, but you don't want the hassle of having an enormous dumpster delivered, grab a doggy bag, keep it as long as you need. They'll come take it away. For more information, just visit bulldoggybag.com.
That's bulldoggybag.com.
By now, you've all heard the expression, when you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481 for PDR Automotive. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR. But who are they? They, the PDR staff, understand that a name is only as good as the people that represent it. The PDR staff has more than 335 years of combined automotive experience. Several employees now on staff for more than 25 years. PDR, more than just a name. Family owned and operated, now celebrating over 50 years in business. Here's what one shopper said about Pard's Western Shop in Urbana, 306 North Maple, between Maine and University. He said, sure, you can find boots at some big box stores, but nothing like Pard's selections. They're unique, they're local, and they have an excellent store. So many people that visit Pard's in Urbana say the same thing. Pard's in Urbana, 306 North Maple. You can find the best boots in the world and shop local. Visit pards.com. Pards.com.
Invested in our community since 1908. Hi, this is Todd Durakan with First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Maybe you've attended an event at one of the more than 50 organizations First Federal supported last year. We help make our community a better place, and we invite you to visit us and discover better banking for yourself. Experience the exceptional, friendly service from our knowledgeable staff. Speak with real people, not a recording during business hours. We're never too busy for you. Hey, if you're not already banking with us, give us a try. We think you'll love it here. 356bank.com. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. NMLS 435120.
This is XYZ Insurance. How can I help?
I have a question about my home policy.
Okay, question about phone policy. home policy.
Okay, gnome policy.
HOME, home.
Technology is great, but sometimes it's better to talk with a real person. With Erie Insurance, you have a caring, independent agent who's with you from beginning to end.
We don't have any HOMEs on record.
Your Erie agent in Champaign is Thomas & Ellers Insurance. Go to erieinsurance.com for company licensure and product details.
Hi, we're your Prairie Gardens plant experts. Let's talk about winter houseplant care.
2 things you'll want to do is water less and stop fertilizing because houseplants go dormant in the winter or really slow down. And you'll also want to hold off on doing any repotting until March or so.
It's also a good idea to move your houseplants to where they may get a bit more sun.
Just make sure to keep them away from drafts and vents when you do move them. Come to Prairie Gardens. We are here to answer all your plant questions.
Hi, this is Kirk Lehman, owner of Aftershock Decals and Design. We are a one-stop shop for your business needs. Whether you're just starting up or already in business, we can help you get your brand out there. We do everything from logo design or redesign, outdoor signage to banners, window and wall graphics, fleet graphics, vehicle wraps, and more. We also provide custom racing wraps and decals. If you need anything I just mentioned, you need to get a quote from me, Kirk Lehman. Just visit us at aftershockdd.com.
Buy the AC and get the furnace for free. You heard that right. For a limited time, when you buy a qualifying AC system from Matex, the furnace costs you nothing. There has never been a better time to upgrade your comfort with Matex, the most trusted service provider in Central Illinois for over 25 years. We don't know how much longer we can offer this, so don't miss out on our best deal ever. Call or visit getthefurnacefree.com today to schedule your free in-home consultation. Matex, feel the difference.
Hey Illini fans, it's your girl Chineo Gumake. Catch Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
We got to go quick, don't we?
Really quick.
So the Brewers had a chance. I want to be on the Brewers side for a minute.
All right.
The Brewers, I wonder if they went to Corbin Burns because he's unrestricted free agent next year and said, we want to sign you to a long-term deal. And Burns said no. Well, then the Brewers may have said then, well, you know what, we're going to take you to arbitration. So I'm looking at both sides here because I was pretty bullish on Corbin. You said that's okay to be. And then on Levi sent the thing today, the Cardinals, Ryan Helsley lost his arbitration case per a source. That was his first arbitration-eligible season. He'll make $2.15 instead of filing for $3. So there you go. The Cardinals did the same thing, essentially. I'll say this. Relief pitchers are a dime a dozen. And I know Helsley was good last year, but he's not Corbin Burns.
He was really good last year.
He was very good.
There is more value in that starter than, even though Helsley, for the most part, was a lights-out closer.
He really was. Can you imagine if him and Jordan Hicks stayed healthy and both threw 100? They'd both throw like 102 miles an hour.
One more quick note on the text line. Wade weighed in and said, Ayo Dosunmu made the Rising Stars game, so he will play in, I don't know where the All-Star weekend is coming up. Kyle, do you know?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City.
Of course. Karl Malone, John Stockton.
That's right. Ayo was in it last year, and he gets to return to the Rising Stars game. So that's awesome.
Matt said he'll play for Darren Williams' team.
That's very cool.
Cool.
Very, very cool. Thanks to Jeff Jones joining us in the on the Dick Van Dyke Appliance World phone line. Appreciate all that weighed in on the U of I Atlantic Link text line. We got to get out of here. We are running a little bit late.
Luke Goody tomorrow.
I'll talk to you from the road.
Sweet.
This is The Drive.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region, and it would not be possible without team members like Dwayne Linton, a nationally certified nurse in the emergency department at Carl Foundation Hospital.
I work with a team of people who really care about what they do and are very flexible and adaptive in rapidly changing critical situations, and I would trust any of them at any time.
If you're looking for an opportunity to serve your community like Dwayne in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
Here's what somebody recently said at Pards in Urbana. I was there just a few minutes, and somebody came up and asked if I needed help. And they were incredible, helping me find the size of boot I needed. And then I bought a second pair, too. Everything was friendly. Everything was excellent. Visit Pards in Urbana, 206 North Maple, between Main and University in Urbana. It's Pards Western Shop since 1968. Or go online and visit pards.com, pards.com.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808